Hello and welcome to the show. We are back on BeamNG Drive at the Proving Ground circuit with some more vehicles being driven till destruction. And we start with a Toyota. This is with a Camry. It is a 2.5 litre V6 all-wheel drive version of the car. So we're talking relatively mid-spec here. All-wheel drive should be good. It does tend to keep wheels alive. Basically, if we lose a front wheel or a back wheel, we're still going to have some drive, in theory. If we blow the engine to pieces, then no matter whatever drive we have isn't going to work. But yeah, all-wheel drive is your strongest drive line for this. Bloody hell, please stop doing that already. I fear our radiator is going to last about 20 seconds. If it flies that nose down, we're not off to a good start. But I don't know. We shall see how this thing fares. The front bumper is being eaten, but it's still stuck on, so I can't pull it clear. It's fine. We'll worry about that at a later date. Ooh, that's a lot of understeer through there. Okay, we don't have a huge amount of grip. We have an understeery bugger in places. Actually seems quite fast as well. Just looking at the speed through this corner. I have some decent, well, more pace than I expected perhaps from it. Oh, we're going to do some two-wheeled antics, that's fine. So far it seems fairly resilient into the spinners with no problem through there. I mean, unless it gets really bad steering issues, I wouldn't expect there to be any problems through that section. Carousel poses no real harm. This is the bit that I am worried about, of course. The shafted jump is, well, notorious for braking cars. We want to be going about mid 60 miles an hour. That's quite nice. Don't land on the engine. We're good. I feel like being all-wheel drive, it's possible for, of course, for the drive to be what kills a car, although it is rarer. Landing on the engine could be an issue, or radiator. That's probably my main concerns with this one. Potentially steering, although it's not got bent at all in any of these heavy landings, which is a good sign for the car. Suspension does seem to be holding up relatively well at the moment. Now, this isn't a crazy. There is sort of more sporty spec versions of this car. This isn't a crazy high-end sporty, so it's got a little bit more give in the suspension, which is an important thing around a course like this. You want the suspension, like the full-on race cars and so on, just have no, I say no give in the suspension. Considering what we're doing here, big airtime. Oh, there goes the radiator. Yeah, they have comparatively no give in the suspension, so all the shock goes through the chassis and important bits in there, whereas this at least has a little bit. It's only a little bit and it often gets snapped, but we shall see. We'll take it across the speed bumps. I want it to land flat, so you want to land flat and level because that avoids breaking your engine and breaking important stuff at the front of the car. But then that does put a lot of shock through the chassis, and it can put a lot of shock through the suspension, essentially snapping bits. So yeah, there's no good way to land the jumps unless you have off-road suspension. Oh, I think we've got something collapsed, maybe? Oh, we've got rear suspension damage now. Rear wheel damage. There was something had gone before that, although I think that's now going to mask any damage that I have elsewhere. It went in towards the checkerboard and it wanted to turn on its own in a weird way. It always felt like the front corner was down. I don't know if it is. Something might not quite be right with the front right. However, the damage at the rear is now way bigger deal than anything else. Oh, that's a tap. Can we straighten the wheel out? I feel like trying to straighten the rear wheel out here is going to be a risky plan, not one that I'm going to aim for. Very rarely. It has happened where we've crashed a car and fixed it, but it is unlikely. Also, if we do crash a car with a wheel bent like this, I think the wheel is more likely to ping off than anything else. That'll do. We'll smack into the side. That's fine. All is kind of okay in the Camry. It's doing better than I thought it might. I say thought about it. Sometimes with these cars, with this sort of, I say sort of normal style road car, they just fall apart. The Zimas have been awful around here. They've just not been able to survive. Admittedly, they were mostly front wheel drives, but they have just disintegrated around this course. This is putting up more of a fight at the moment. No broken drive going onto the vehicle, it's just the overheating and the exhaust. I fear we might have some bumper. I don't know if I can pull that free. without causing more damage to the car. I can. Okay, that's good. I think the bumper was dragging and it has to make the car work harder. Yeah, I think it was dragging a little bit under there. It's difficult to I guess, kind of decide. It'd be very easy for that bumper to have welded itself inside one of the wheels and not be able to pull it free. Oh, that's going to clonk down. I mean, the car is... The overheating is going to kill it, one way or another. We can keep it alive for a little bit with trips through the water. If it can make it, don't oversteer towards speed bump, because you go sideways over that, I really will tear the wheels off along one side. That's it, land on the other side, even out the damage. There goes the engine. Come on, get to shallow grave. If you can get to there, you'll cool down a little bit. Piston rings are damaged. We might have got to the point of no return. Well, it's always going to happen. We might be able to get some cooling. It's very difficult to steer the car into here. Did that have any effect? Sometimes the water can help cool the cars. Not everything, though. Not everything gets much help from that. It does look like the Camry has got exactly zero help from that. So we are just waiting now for, I guess, the engine to go pop at some point around the circuit. I don't know at what point, but at a point around the lap, the engine's going to go pop, and that'll be the end of the car. Can we get through the spinners? We can. Ooh, it's a bit janky on the old steering front there. It's fine. Nothing terribly broken. Or I say that as the head gasket goes. Things are terribly broken. I take it back. Steering's knackered. The engine's going to go bang. I think the engine is going bang about now. Oh, no, it's gone down a gear. We shall make the jump. It's not going to be an epic jump, I'm afraid. It's going to be a fairly pitiful jump off the end of that. Oh, it's still going. The head gasket's gone, the piston rings are gone. Now the oil's overheating, coolant's overheating. It's a resilient bugger. I will give it that. Surely it can't make it over Dover. Could it? I mean, maybe. I'm going to give it a try. Come on. Oh, struggling up the hill. Come on, Toyota. You can do this. You can keep going. We'll bounce around a little bit. That's fine. Okay. Rod bearings are gone. No, that's not good. We've lost one drive shaft. We're now a front-wheel drive Camry. It's fine. I have no problem with... Well, I say I have minor problems with this, but it's... Considering everything that's going on, the drive shaft going is the lesser of the problem. I'm really surprised how long this engine has lasted. That has done incredibly well. It has now seized. That is the end of the Toyota, but that is actually a really good showing for the car. For how long that was overheating, that engine is seriously resilient. That engine is very, very resilient. It's got battering around the course, but it has done well. Yeah, all-wheel drive is helpful. We did lose a drive shaft, but yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised by that one. Up next, we move on to a Skoda. This is the 1203. It is a rather old Skoda van that I don't really know how it's going to survive. There have been a couple of modifications to the spec. It has the super powerful engine in it because the standard ones are very, very slow. We're talking it gets to about 40 miles an hour and that's it. And it does have the super efficient radiator to go with said engine because otherwise it'll overheat itself just driving very quickly. So a couple of little additions to the vehicle. I mean, strength-wise on this one, it is going to be going faster than it would perhaps expect to. It feels very soft, and I mean, the wheels would not look out of place. Oh, that's a wonky jump. The wheels would not look out of place on a bicycle. I will say that much. They're tiny wheels. It's already a lot of bobbling around on them, and we're going to go for a spin. Come on. I don't think the diff is really designed for the super powerful engine either. That is something I didn't think about. I suspect there's going to be a lot of one-tyre fires. But there we go. It'll be fine. I'm sure nothing horrific is going to happen in all of this. Oh, God. I'm a little concerned, actually, if I get oversteer, let's say coming across the checkerboard, if I get oversteer, I might tear a wheel off. They don't look very well secured, shall we say. I could be wrong. Sometimes I am with these vehicles. There is a lot of tyre noise going on through that corner. We'll clunk it across the Toblerones. That's fine. The spinners. I mean, the spinners are a concern as far as with the size of this van. Oh dear. Okay, doesn't quite have the turning I was expecting into there, but with the sheer size of this van, if it gets clipped by a spinner, it's going to do a lot of damage. It's not going to go under the spinners like we've seen from some cars. You're not really going to get a glancing blow with the van unless you're very, very lucky. So, yeah, they could do some real damage. We are going to have... I mean, I can't go too crazy with the throttle simply because it's just going to spin the wheels. Oh, I've got trouble. That's... not really the angle I wanted to land at, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Oh, we lost a headlight. Well, we've lost a headlight, and I think the seats are falling out. Yes, that's... I mean, that's not ideal, I will say that much. Okay. I mean, the actual suspension survived pretty well. What was a pretty heavy landing, although I say that it was more landed on the rear bumper, on the rear bodywork that got crumpled. Rather than mechanics. I guess it's the snapping, so it hits the back and then that forces, well, it kind of flings the car so the front end hits the ground really hard. That is a concern. Oh, it's quite difficult to drive out here with these bicycle wheels. Can I get through the trees? This is a new line. No vehicle has ever taken such a line through there. It does randomly want to spin on the dirt because it has a lot of power going through tiny wheels. It's rear wheel drive. I mean, the drive shaft could be a concern with this. If the chassis gets very buckled, I mean, that has often been front engine rear wheel drive problems, and the van is quite long, so big drive shaft more likely to have issues. I don't know, we'll find out as we go along. Oh, that's another... They're horrible crunches. I think... Did we just lose a seat? Did we just lose one of the front seats? I think we did. That is also another very, very big jump. We come crashing back down to earth. Something's broken in the front. The front right corner does not seem like it is in a healthy position. Uh-oh. We're doing the whole hit the arse on the ground first, catapult the nose into the ground, but oh yeah, the front right's having a bad time. That's not really okay, but we do still have steering, basically. As long as we have steering, I guess the suspension collapses. Suspension collapses, we're more likely to be taking damage to important components, of course. I can't even get near the throttle up here because it just spins the wheel. So the unloaded wheel. I think that might actually be a bigger problem with that front end collapsing. Is as the car dives, it's going to make it even worse for lifting up rear wheels. Oh god, don't touch the brakes through there. Can I save it? No. We have definitely lost a seat, and another seat is not where it should be. It's fine. I mean, we had something lose the whole bodywork. Was it the fire marshal truck? Lost all of the bodywork came off the frame, so I guess losing a seat isn't exactly the worst. I mean, it's entertaining, and it would be the first vehicle, I think, to ever lose a seat outside of it losing the entire cab. Oh dear. I just did not turn that as much as I thought I was. Okay, I was wrong about insta-death if we hit the spinners. I mean, it wasn't good. It pitched us into a wall. But, yeah, okay, the handling is dubious and difficult, but the van is still alive. It's not in great shape here, but it is still alive. God, it does not feel happy. Oh, that's not a good angle to land at. That's a huge crash for the Skoda. I mean, mechanically speaking, it seems okay. Amazingly, that seems okay. Visually speaking, it's destroyed. But the engine is okay, the steering still functions. Amazingly, the radiator's alive somewhere in all of that, considering the damage it's got going on at the front. I'm impressed the radiator has survived. Now, rolls, it looks bad. However, a big roll like that is actually better than it just hitting the ground with all that force. I mean, put simply, the roll is dissipating the energy. Oh, and that's a low-speed roll. That doesn't really do very much at all to the vehicles. Oh, we're going to land back on our wheels? We are. Yeah, when it's rolling and tumbling through the air, the energy is going into rolling the car. And, you know, you crash, you land on... You know, the energy might go into deforming the roof of the van. And while, okay, there's some structure in that, deforming the roof is not as bad as having all of the force go into the engine, for example, or the driveline. So, it's not... It looks bad, it is actually sometimes a better option until it gets really broken or until a wheel pings off. But, I don't know, the wheels so far... Considering everything this has gone through, the wheels are still attached at the moment. We're heading up towards the crescendo jump for the Skoda. Don't do a backflip, you stupid man. We're going to skid along on our side. Excuse me. I got your wheels, please. It does look like the floor of the cab has been lifted up at angles it should not be at. I mean, it's keeping... Well, the front wheels are kind of in one piece. Oh, it's very sketchy to drive now. It really just want to land on the back every jump. What was that pinged off underneath? Was it just a hubcap? I think it was. Okay. It's a mess, this one. It's a mess. The handling is getting... I mean, it wasn't exactly the easiest thing to drive with. It wasn't designed for this powerful engine. Okay, and that is fair enough. I've only got it to make it a bit more interesting to drive. Otherwise, yeah, you're very, very slow around this course. But yeah, it's not the easiest thing to drive to begin with, but it is now considerably worse. With, I mean, the steering is inconsistent and quite floaty is the word I'm going to use. You never really know what you're going to get, and if you do get what you expect, well, it's not really turning or doing much helpful things. It's going to bounce across the Toblerones. There we go. Right, spinners. I am concerned now with this because it is wandering all over the place. Got to chuck it through here and hope that it's got enough grip. I mean, it actually carried okay speed through all of there. My concern is as this gets worse, it's going to be more and more difficult to get it through those spinners because it's going to do more random things. You can see how bad it's pulling to the right here. Sometimes depending on what's bent, further crashes can actually straighten up the steering. We have seen that before. That would be nice. That's a huge hit on the suspension, but it holds, kind of holds. I say that. I think for a moment the rear got trapped downwards, but it has pinged itself free. I don't know whether that impact there is better than the rolling. The rolling, of course, looks way worse, but that impact is solid on the suspension. That rear right wheel, as it gets unloaded, looks like it's almost folding underneath itself. That's never a good sign. That's definitely not a good sign at all. Up over Dover we go. Oh, bad things have gone on with the rear. Okay, the rear is completely collapsed now on the right-hand side. The issue is, with that wheel not touching the ground properly, A, can we still meet the cruller rule? We can. Okay, will that wheel ping itself free? Maybe. Will the other side collapse to that same point? If the other side collapses to that point, I'm okay, because at least it's then even. Oh, it's fine. And what's going to happen when we hit the speed bumps? What's going to happen when we hit the checkerboard? That was the concern from the heavy landing, when it's all that force is going through the suspension. Has that corner? I don't even know what's happened to that corner. Has that corner completely given up? It might have done. I mean, the wheel's just about on the ground, letting us put some power down. Oh dear, we don't really turn. Now that is a problem. Oh. We look like it. Well, it kind of looks like one of those slammed show trucks. Now, I'm not allowed to grab reverse if I can't make a corner, but that is not the vehicle having lost steering. That is a vehicle having bounced itself off the track. So we are allowed to grab reverse there. It's just stuck on a tree. Okay, Skoda, we still good? We are still... I mean, we're not good, but we're still functioning enough to carry on. I think for now, that wheel is not long for this. Well, I don't even know how it's still touching the ground. There's just a little gap for it. It's not good. It's not looking good for the Skoda here. I mean, the distance is not bad, although clunky over here. I think the actual distance indicator may be wrong. Generally, when we have buckled wheels, this kind of failure, the distance counts a lot higher because it's measuring wheel rotation rather than anything else. We may have problems here. We can kind of skate our way along. Now, it has got to be able to reach... The cruller rule means the vehicle has to be able to reach 20 miles an hour with a reasonable amount of time. We know it's going to struggle up the hill. And, you know, you can't take 20 miles an hour around every single corner that you find. Can this do it? I mean, it has just hit it then. It's very much on the verge of being counted out with this. We actually really need a crash on the left-hand side. We need a crash on the left-hand side and destroy that suspension, or have that wheel ping outwards, but I don't think that's likely to happen here somehow. we are going to have big problems. I think we're going to have big problems getting through here. No, because I can't steer. Can't steer the other way. We don't really have... That might have given... Oh, it's pinged the wheel out. Yes, okay, good news. The spinner has actually fixed my car. That is the first time I can ever say that. The steering wheel is pointing out of the cabin, out of the windscreen. That's not normal. However, the spinner did actually save us there. We were going to be in real trouble. I was actually genuine concern this would get stuck up the hill with that buckled in wheel. Oh, the wheel has just pinged back inwards again. That might be the death of the wheel. If that is stuck where I think it is, can we still put power down? We can amazingly still get some drive from this. It's still good. It's still going. For now, surely this can't go for much longer around here. This is an absolute wreckmobile now that is still... I mean, it's persistent, I will give it that. The wheel is... I'm amazed this is even putting any drive down. Because that wheel is... We only get drive if we're turning left, so we've got a... I mean, it's still technically clearing the crawler rule at the moment. We don't turn left very well, but we have to turn left to get the right corner onto the ground, so the diff lets us put some of the immense power onto the road. This might be one of the biggest wreckmobiles that continues to drive in some regards. How is the radiator alive in this? How is half of this vehicle actually still working is beyond me. You've got to have like 40 miles an hour across there. Ooh. The front of it's starting to look like one of those bloody baggage handlers as it destroys most of the roof. We've almost lost the entire roof in this, at this stage. Still good for speed. Across the tabletops we go. There's some big crunches going on here. There's going to get to a point where this is too... It's going to get to a point where the diff is going to stop this from driving. I'm kind of hoping it's going to clonk something and ping the wheel out again, if I'm honest. Doesn't turn left properly. Oh, okay, the other side's collapsed. All of the back end's collapsed, but that is good for me. It's not good for me in terms of handling. The handling's even worse now. Oh no, it's pinged it back out again. No, wheel. I need you to stay down. I need you to stay broken, because if you're... if that wheel doesn't get free, I don't know if we're ever going to climb the jump. Because it can only just get its way up here. And we're literally on the limit of what I can get that to do. Oh, it is just moving. And once we can get it around this corner, we're okay again. Come on, van. Come on, van. There we go. See, now it's fine. Oh, damn, for a glorious moment, the rear right was destroyed, and we were able to put some power down. It's hit 20 mile an hour mark here, and it is now back to accelerating again. I mean, it really doesn't turn left properly, funnily enough, in all of this. Can we brake? I want the rear right to brake permanently, but I do fear if that brakes permanently, we're going to be in trouble. In terms of handling. Alright, into the spinners we go. This time we are actually through in one piece. The big concerning part is we're going to have to try and carry a lot of momentum down here if we're going to make the ramp, because we could well get stuck on it. The uphill section is going to give this car drive issues. Come on, Skoda, you can do this. You can do this. If you lose momentum or if you spin coming up here like this, this is bad. Oh, we're going to just clear over the ramp. It hits very heavily on the front left wheel, but we have got over the ramp. The only issue is now I've got to try and get up this bit of the hill with a very broken car. Can you do it? Oh, it makes it... It's only just clinging to life at this juncture. The Skoda is clinging on, but barely. That wheel is going to end up at an undrivable position. It might have just done it there. No, we get it back down onto the ground. The Skoda continues. I mean, it can still get up to some actually half-decent speed. This can get at a speed that the standard vehicle is doing when it's pristine. Basically, that's why I've gone for the powerful engine. I don't want to bend the right-hand side. The problem is, I don't want to bend the right-hand side of the vehicle anymore, but I'm having to turn left to put any power down, which means as I leave a jump, the car is naturally tipping onto its right-hand side, which makes matters worse. But I can't counter that, because if I counter that, I just have no drive. So we're just going to keep making the right-hand side worse until something falls off. Or is that completely collapsed? Have I got both rear wheels now a bit more on the flattened level? Nope, because it's bounced back out again. Oh, I really want to break the rear left suspension. This is one of those rare occurrences, but funny occurrences, where breaking this car might actually help it in this. I'd say pay no attention to the distance indicator. I believe it is completely knackered. It's doing well, this vehicle, but I don't think that is a realistic measure of the car's distance. It's got a lot of one-tire fires going on with wheels spinning around in the air. I might actually struggle. What has broken now? What is going on with this car? I'm not actually sure what is going on with this vehicle. We may really struggle to get out of the water, though. If we're struggling up this hill, we are in a lot of trouble now. Can we put that drive down? Okay, so the chassis or something else is buckled more. It's, yeah, really, really struggling to get up any hills. It's after Shallow Grave, that hill could be what kills it. If it can't get up on its own, under its own steam, it will be counted out. And we lose a lot of momentum going through the water. Come on. I can't turn... Okay, we're going to tip it that way, then we're going to turn it left. Come on. Put some of that power down. Oh. It's just does it. It just makes it across there. And then we can get some power down. I'm not even trying to do that to avoid the checkerboard. I'm actually doing that so I can swing the vehicle, get as big a turn in as possible, because it's the big. So we kind of have to chuck it right, put the foot down as we turn left to not go off the course, and that's when we get our forward momentum. This is concerning, to say the least, for the Skoda, and the biggest concern of all is coming up at the. Oh, okay, no, it has. Now the other side's collapsed again. This is the biggest concern in part of all. Oh god, it's crabbing horrifically now. Can I actually get you through the spinners? Amazingly, we do. Okay, the rear left-hand side is gone again. Please stay gone, because... Oh no, it's popped out. I don't want the suspension on that quarter working anymore, because that makes matters worse. The big jump here, we have momentum going towards, actually have probably the most speed we've had for a long time. Oh, and it's collapsed. Oh, that's bad news for us. It has spun off the course. Now, is there any hope of getting it back on? If it can't get itself back on the course, then it will also be counted out. I'm not rescuing it. It spun from the suspension damage, pinging it around. I think it might finally have given up the ghost at this point. Oh, okay. I'm allowed to try shuffling it around. Allowed to try moving it. Come on. It's definitely not beached. It's just... Oh, there's a little bit of movement here. It's a very narrow gap that we have to aim for to try and get it back onto the course. I mean, it is not really moving. Okay, so we're turning left. We have got it going in some sort of some form of movement. This is... Come on, Skoda! That was ambitious, not gonna lie. That was a very ambitious plan. I mean, a good condition vehicle will do that, no problem at all. This in new condition would do it. The only other plan we got, right, here we go. This is it. This is the last attempt, Skoda. You've got a mile off the course. We are giving you as much of a chance here as I realistically can to get you back on to the course. There we go. Right, we're through. The bigger problem part is about to come. can it climb up that hill? I'm going to go with probably not, considering the struggles we've had to get it this far. That is a steep hill. We're going for the run-up. Here we go. And so we're taking it as far right as we can. Oh! It lives. The Skoda lives. It is one determined vehicle, and it is still... Okay, is it still going to hit the 20 miles an hour required? It does. What is it going to take to kill the Skoda? We're back up to 40 miles an hour nearly. In this, we've had a spin. The rear wheel's buggered again. Please stay stuck down there. Please, please just stay. Stay down there. Let us continue on our journey. This is a remarkable feat of endurance. The fact that there is any way to make this work is incredible. Come on, vehicle. You can do this. We're heading up towards Dover now. I don't really want to get airtime because that's when that rear wheel is most likely to ping itself free. Here we go. Has it pinged free? It has. Oh, for God's sake. Stay broken, please. I need a really big hit on the rear left corner. I mean, I think if we do that, we saw how bad the drive was going up towards the jumps and so on. If we do get that rear wheel stuck down, I think it's just going to spin off at high speeds constantly and will eventually break itself. It's back collapsed again. This is good. I mean, this is the joy of this series. This is why I love this series so much, is sometimes you get a vehicle that will just refuse to give up. And the Skoda here is absolutely refusing to succumb to the Proving Grounds circuit. The back end is basically dragging on the floor. How we have steering, I don't know. How the radiator is still working, I don't know. That's bad. Oh. Okay, well, we're in the pit lane. I mean, I was trying to get it to go the right direction. It just didn't listen. If we somehow make it to the spinners, I don't think I'm going to have the control to actually avoid them, because this is currently going wherever the hell it pleases, and that could well be to its doom, if it's so inclined. Oh, okay, I think the rear left might be dead for good now, in terms of the suspension, which is actually helpful in some regards, not helpful in the control regards. Honestly, I've done this series over a number of courses with a large number of vehicles, and there have been some incredibly stubborn cars. I think, was it an ETK S series, I remember, from the Endurodrome, that just refused to give up, which is rare for the ETKs because their wheels normally fell off. We've had cars on fire. I think that was on fire at one point. We've had cars on fire. We've had all sorts of stuff that has just refused to die around these courses. But this Skoda may be one of the most ridiculous contenders I've ever seen in terms of its sheer determinedness to keep driving. I mean, it's actually now, yeah, it can still get across the checkerboard. Even though we've got horrific oversteer issues, mostly because it's the chassis on the floor, I think. Certainly something at the rear is. We are past 30 miles an hour, heading up towards this corner. Nope. Please turn left. Oh, the spinners. I do think the spinners might kill it. I do think they might be the death of this if it doesn't get beached on the Toblerones. It is across there at 15 miles an hour. What have we got? Oh dear, we're going to go for a very low speed spin. Okay, Skoda, can I even position you to get through here? I don't know. Please turn left. There we go. We're through the first part. Oh, we're through the second. It lives! There is the control. The thing is, I've had vehicles that have to be slower through there as well. Across the bumps we go. That is going to be another spin. Oh, trees. Uh-oh. Now, we may well be stuck on the trees. That is not so much the van's fault. So I am allowed to free it from that this sort of area. Actually, the slight downside of the trees where they are here is vehicles that have a tendency to spin off of the banking can get a little bit wedged on those trees. So we are allowed to use the node grabber to free it from that, if that is what is causing the issue. I don't quite know why we weren't steering left. Have we broken something further? Probably. Let's face it. Okay, the wheel hasn't popped out, but I mean, they're barely touching the floor now at the back. One more big hit on the rear of this, and I'm pretty sure it's going to buckle it to the point where none of the wheels are touching the ground, but we soldier on for a further spin. Can you make it up this hill? You did it when you were in technically a worse position, I think. I feel like this is better off than it was last lap around. But it does crab horrifically. Yep, we're going to clear the hill. Big clonk again. But we're off for another lap. What is it going to take to kill this Skoda? This is the question that I'm now asking. What will kill the Skoda 1203? It's got to be drive. The drive is surely going to go in this. The steering is completely knackered, but it is still at least steering. It pulls horrifically to the right, but I do still have enough steering to the left to make it around the course. It's got to be something bent at the back that is going to lead to the wheels finally not being able to put any power down. Because, yeah, now it is doing better than it was a couple of laps ago with that rear left finally given away. I mean, you can see the rear right wheel. There is barely any of it touching the ground because it looks like it's more in the, I guess, the bed in the back of this van than it is actually being a wheel, but somehow this twisted heap of junk is still a driving vehicle. I'm not going to go as far as to say a functioning vehicle because I'm not really sure that would be a fair summary of it, but it does still have steering, it does still have drive. Oh, that's a nasty hit on the ground. Actually a big hit for the rear on the speed bump itself. Oh, damn, then he rolled itself back onto its wheels. We are up against the pit wall. Do we have movement in this? Yes. Yes, we do. Is the crabbing worse? Yep. Is it still driving? Yep. Okay, speed bump time. Pretty sure that's just skating across on its chassis now. How that rear right wheel is putting any power into the road, I will never know. And it has to. This is the thing. I know it has to because the diff is never, ever going to allow this vehicle to drive with one-wheel drive. The diff's crap. I mean, I say this crap. The diff is a very old car. It's going to be a very old diff. It's not exactly a racing vehicle, this, is it? So, of course, the diff's going to be crap and not designed to let it do that. But we're up the hill now with the van. Oh! Oh! The drive shaft. It finally went. We carry momentum into the checkerboard. It was everything was so collapsed that eventually it got caught on one of the bits of checkerboard, and that would be the end of the van. The fact that it survived that long is ridiculous. The distance indicated is a very, very long way. I don't believe that that is accurate based on the amount of times one wheel was spinning around in the air. I will have to check. I don't think this will be the leader, but I do think that it has been a mighty, mighty impressive performance from the Skoda. As I said, the will to carry on in this was absolutely ridiculous. It survived so much. I think it might be one of the most impressive broken drives we have ever seen on this series, and that is certainly saying something. So, we are on to our leaderboard, and Skoda will go into a 7th place. We have an NA on the distance because it was completely knackered with the amount that it was spinning its wheels. A very impressive performance. I have forgotten just how resilient the Baja Piccolina had been, but yeah, the fact that Skoda kept going for as long as it did, it is mad. It is complete madness, but highly entertaining. Well done, Skoda. Well done, Skoda, indeed, on that one. We do have to go a little bit further down to find the other vehicle in the episode. Yes, we did have the Camry as well. That goes into a 39th place. A respectable performance. Certainly a respectable performance from the vehicle. Just not really as spectacular as a Skoda that refused to die around the course. The engine was very tough in that because that was overheating for a long time before it gave up. But there we go. That is going to be it for this episode. As ever, I shall link all the mods used in the description, so you can download them and have a go with them yourself. That, though, shall be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.